So I have some videos from my psychic class and I put it together as a compilation for you guys to watch. I cut bits and pieces of what I thought would be interesting to share with you guys. However, the quality might not be as great because when I did film this, it wasn't for YouTube. It was just for my own personal reasons. So please keep that in mind. But I hope you enjoy it. Photos. So what it is that sometimes when we use regular tarot cards, we get into the habit of labeling it because we're like, oh, it's the Two of Swords, oh, it's the Tower card. And what happens is when we start labeling it, we're closing ourselves off from picking up other types of intuitive energy. And then we feel limited because then we can only say so much what we see that's labeled versus what we feel, what we hear, and what we smell, what we taste, everything else. So in this sense, I like using, it's actually a harder way of doing readings, but I like teaching it in my class first because this will actually bring out that energy. You have no labels here, nothing to show anything, no picture. But when you tap into it and you relax your mind and you pull back, you're able to see things that your mind will create for you and your subconscious mind will create for you, and you already know your answers because your answers are already within. So basically you're just letting this formulate for you to show you a more affirmed answer. Yeah. So these are like some things that I painted before, but I like using them in the intuition class for that. So I'm gonna pass them out.
She would make cards from them like that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, right? And make them the big cards.
Yeah.
And then people can just like, huh? Yeah. I would maybe use them.
Yeah, alright, sounds good.
Please make them.
Here you go. Oh, just kidding. So most of the time we get things like, when we do readings, we're like, okay, this is what you pick up spiritually, this is the message for you, this is what's going to happen. But let's take it one step deeper now. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect to the person's heart. So to connect to the person's heart, what you want to do is get to that space first, where you're in like that neutral space, that 0 point. And the meditations that I do is 0 point. However, I want to say it's not 0 point because you're going to get into a space, but there is a drop of intention, meaning you're not forcing it, meaning you're not saying, I visualize, I see this, but just, this is what it's for, and that's it. And just a drop of intention, and that's all you need. Any more than that, it's controlling the energy a little bit too much, limiting yourself a little bit too much. So let's get ourselves in that space first.
Happening around you and you're like floating in it, and I feel like there's I feel like that is because there is a lot of pain. Yeah, because this purple and blue is giving me like bruised and numb feelings, so I feel like they're saying that you've been going through it a lot in your life right now. Yeah, I'm getting like in order to get through that stage, there's a need to become more aware and awaken to those feelings and those emotions, the shadow aspect of yourself.
Shielding yourself too. So I feel like it looks like a heart as well. So if you're learning to receive negativity with a loving view, but it also, to me, it looks like studying, like a book. So I feel like you've been studying on something or pursuing your goals or what.
So both on the right track, definitely. Yeah. So like there's another level where some people think, oh, negative messages is a negative thing. But actually sometimes negative messages, like talking about something negative, is what's going to show the positive or what's coming from the person. So like in this picture, I'm going to purposely, tap into a negative, but to let you understand how it works with the positive, I guess. So when I tap into the picture and I'm tapping into at the same time, I get this energy of, it's a shaky energy. But the shaky energy is not because she's afraid. It's because she feels she has to be there for everyone. So it's almost like where you are not grounded in a way because you feel if you're too grounded, you cannot move spontaneously to get something done and then move to the next and get something done. So you feel that you're grounded just enough so that you can like help someone and then help somebody else and then help someone else just in time. But you know that, and it's not where it's like somebody that just isn't grounded. Like you know what you're doing and you know that you have to do that in order to be there. And when you're able to do it, then the after effects is like, I did it, kind of thing. Like, but the during effects is kind of like, I gotta help this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Yeah.
For me, it's a little difficult because I look at the words a lot. But dark, I know something is like not so good, and then the brighter is good, but I don't. I could practice with that more.
Yeah, no. After a while, you're gonna feel like these are easier than the other ones. I think. Yeah, because that's why I don't like giving up my tarot decks, because one day you'd be like, this is the best one for me, and then as you progress or you change, you're like, no, wait, this one is so it changes. And like so like for example, like when I look at these cards, how I do this is I open my heart. I try to connect with my heart. So the energy is like I'm feeling it here. I'm not feeling it in here. So I'm not looking at it from here and saying like, oh, why is this yellow? Why is this black? Why is this? Because to me, that's more from here. Sorry. But from my heart, it's more like, I take in the feeling of it. So it's a little bit, I think it's more like empathic. Yeah. So as I realize the way I'm teaching is more empath than visual. Yes. But for some reason, the empath part, once you get it, you get the visual part. Like to me, it follows the next one. I don't know why, but that's how it is for me. Yeah. So like for example, right? If you inhale this into your lungs, what kind of feeling do you get? Like, do you feel like it's a smooth inhale, or do you feel like it's like a choppy, like it's a pebbles kind of inhale, or like it's like if it was a road, would it be smooth, or would it be like rigid, or would it be like
initially it seems calming, like smooth, but I can see it's pebbles. But when I breathe it in, it's smooth. Okay. But see, I don't
know, but your answer might be right. Everybody's different. What you're doing is you're figuring out what works for you. It's not that my answer is right. My answer is right for me, but this is your answer for you. So for you, maybe it is smooth. So another way I tell people is you look at it and this sounds really strange, but this is the only way I can really explain it is like, imagine if this was food and you're eating it, right? Then what kind of texture would it be?
Soft.
That's kind of cool.
I think I'm mochi.
When you said that, I got that from you. Okay. And then when you eat it, how does your stomach feel? Like filled,
Yeah.
loaded, full, content.
Yeah.
Okay, but more full, right? Not hollow, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So we're getting somewhere with that. So that's how I would like, okay, so now say this was food too. Would it be the same? Would it be different?
It was hard and maybe cold, like frozen. I don't know.
Okay. And then what about this?
Looks like it's melting or like pillowy soft,
Okay.
but also kind of solid. I don't know.
So now, if you have to read this as a combination of cards together, it would be like you'd be looking at it and be like, what is this feeling that I'm getting? This softness, but a little bit melting, but a little bit like harsh. What is this? What are they trying to tell me? What are my guys trying to tell me, right? So that's the question I always ask. What are they trying to tell me? What is this feeling they're trying to make me feel of this connection? You know, so it's all going to depend on what the question is. So like say the person asks you,
It's your comment question.
okay, so like, what does so and so think of me?
Is that what you get?
I always get that question from people. Yeah. What does so and so think of me? Because they like them, right? Or oh, do I have a chance with this person?
Oh,
right?
I see a couple.
Yeah.
Couple. Okay, a love connection.
Love connection.
Okay,
Right.
okay, love connection.
Yeah, so say like they say that, right? And then you get this feeling.
I see sexual stuff like sexual.
Okay. And
these cards do give off a sexual thing.
Okay, so what if the question was, though, not what they think, but
How do they think?
what kind of person are they? Or like, oh, you know, I kind of like him, but what kind of person is he?
Is this like the past, present, and future for me?
It can be however you want it.
Okay. So whatever comes out, it just is like this is just telling me a story, not past.
This is telling you a story, but I always think of it as these textures, these feelings. It's like
Overall.
vapor coming off of a card. So it's kind of like it's not the card itself; it's the energy of the card. So when someone says, like, say for example,
this looks cold and icy.
Yeah, so when you see the energies pull off the card like that, sometimes you ask yourself, why, what is this feeling? Like, why do I get like, I feel like this is three-dimensional, this is lifted, this is lifted.
Yeah.
Maybe this part is lifted.
Yeah.
So what are they hiding under here? You know, like there's something that they're not showing. So then I go, okay, so what is these parts that they're hiding? And then I breathe it in and I feel it. And then the same thing, you take it in. What does it feel like? What are they not showing? That sometimes I might say like, okay, this looks like illness of some sort that they're not showing. They're happy on the outside, but they're not showing this. Or like how you were saying too, they're very sensitive. They get hurt very easily.
Oh, because of their past experience.
Because of what they went through. So depending on who the person is and the question is always going to be different. But what you want to do is make sure you kind of pull back. And you just kind of like get the fluff of the card, you know, like sometimes if you're looking like this,
I do.
Yeah, and then it becomes too literal.
Yeah.
But if you pull back a little bit and you just kind of get the feeling, the vapors, the energy, you know, like I don't know how else to explain this, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's why I say like imagine if you're eating it, because then it's like you're tasting it, you're consuming this energy. Yeah, you're consuming the energy in your body and you're trying to see what message they're giving to you and how it's making you feel inside. You know, I think because I did so much readings for people that I try to come from their side and see what they want to know. And most times, like if the person wants a reading and you say something like, oh, I feel like your energy is like this. In their mind, they're like, okay, but what else? Tell me more. Like, is that all you're gonna say? You know. So then I have to be the one in my mind to connect stronger and to ask, okay, why? Why am I getting this? Why am I feeling this? Why is his this way? Sometimes it'll just come to you. Sometimes you have to
like a feeling.
You have to connect to it sometimes. It really depends on everything. The person, the guides, what is meant to be said at the time, what is not meant to be said. Like a lot of times when I do readings, I also have to look at the person that I'm doing it for, because if you know this person is very rebellious and they just want to prove you wrong, it's not going to help.
Defensive.
Yeah, it's not going to help them to tell them
Have that.
you know something, because they're gonna make it prove you wrong anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's in that time of their life, you might have to only share what your guides say to share, and that's it. And there's no more to say, because they don't want them to destruct themselves, and to sabotage themselves.
Yes, and you don't want to try to convince them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't want to go back and forth. Argument.
Yeah, because if they're not ready, right? And so so these cards are really nice. But
okay, so are we doing an example of a person?
Okay, so let's see these cards. So I have an idea. So when you look at these cards, I want you to tell me 3 different ways you can see it. Because the question,
person.
So let's say the first read would be this. Right?
Okay. So I would say that they are growing, like they're
like that's what my head tells me constantly. Like when I'm doing it, they're reading like, okay, but who? But when? But why?
Are you asking your guides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's happening in here.
Yes.
But no one's seeing it.
Yes.
So that's why it's not where I'm just getting it.
Yeah.
Like I'm asking them.
That's why it helps when you think out loud.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so what does this mean? And then you get it because you're asking, right? Because you're asking. But when you don't ask, you're just like, to me, I just sit there and I'm like,
No, yeah. I have, like, that's why you keep that connection with them, right? Yes. So like so in my head, that's what's going on. It's like, like, okay,
asking.
But why? I don't get it. How come it's there? Oh, because of that. You know, you see what I'm saying? And then you keep going on. But was it because of mom or your dad? Dad. Oh, okay. Well, why? Well, how was the dad? You know, so you can take it further. It's like a conversation. That's the only thing you're missing. That's what you need to do.
That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because for you, I'll go like this. Okay, give me confirmation.
Right.
You know, and I'll be full more cards, and then I'll get it.
Yeah. Sometimes I do need more cards.
Oh,
depending, because I'll be like, oh, I'm just not picking it up.
Yeah.
And that's when I use all these other tools. That's when I say, okay, I'm just going to channel it out, or I'm just going to close my eyes and see what I get, envision, what I hear. So that's why it's good to have or try all the different ways.
Ooh, so who? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So connect with your guides now. Connect with somebody, with a guide that you feel
with one
comfortable.
Guide?
Yeah.
I always just call it all my guides.
Okay, call them all in. We did them in the beginning anyway, but bring them in closer.
Yeah, they're here. I feel like they're here.
Okay, so now, all right.
Please help me with this reading. Okay, so I'm gonna do one for you.
Okay.
Please help me with this reading for Maris. Should I use these? Are we still working on these?
Either one. What do you feel?
Is it painting?
Yes, it is painting. That's why I was like, you already knew, because you're talking about painting. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the painting. It's like it's kind of like on hold for this moment.
I love that. Yeah. I love that you're painting, because I think you're a great painter.
I don't know. Well, we'll see.
You know what I love about your paintings is that it's like this. Your paintings are like this. Very vibrant. Emotional, and to me vibrant, like visually for me, it's like, wow, she's so, like, she's bolder with her colors.
Yeah, I am.
You're bolder. I'm not. So I appreciate that about people.
Yeah, some people are like, Maris' paintings are like, done. It's here.
I love it. I love it, because I wish I could paint like that. Like, I wish I could get those colors, and I'm like,
yeah, I don't know. I love, for some reason, the bright colors.
Yeah.
and the strong, bold colors.
Yes.
They affect me a certain way.
Yes.
Like they stimulate something in me a certain way.
Yes.
Where I like a card where I breathe them in and I just feel this energy.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so that's why I paint that way.
Which is really, I admire that because I wish I could see my paintings are like that, and I have to struggle to put that blue.
No, but see, you're not even you're doing the same thing. You're bringing out the same kind of energy, but you don't feel you have to like this is the energy. Here's the energy. You know what I mean? You're just like here's the energy. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, screw you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't know. But yeah, this is, to me, this is you right here. Like your energy. Like your expression of your energy.
Yeah.
But ghost, it's like you're coaching me, that's why.
No.
I feel like when I'm coached, I'm pushing myself that way.
It's cool that we were able to understand that that's what it is. Because a lot of times I feel like, how do I teach this?
Yes.
Because sometimes when you're so close to something, you don't know you're doing something naturally. You're just doing it. But when you're questioning them, like, wait, how?
I know.
How am I doing this? You know?
Yeah. And you're like, how? And you're like, oh my gosh, she's going deep. Like she's asking maybe questions that they didn't even ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet.
It's almost like I have to be nosy for them.
Yes, and you're understanding the whole picture.
Yeah.
You're understanding the whole picture and not just giving them what they're asking.
Yeah. No, you know when you said that, that's so true because what I do is I ask all these questions. So I feel like I'm sitting in the middle of this energy and I'm asking all these questions. And then I sum it up together. And then I look at the person and I see how do I deliver this to this person? Because if I just grab this and deliver it, it might not help them the way they need the help. But if I see everything like this and then I understand it, then I know how to deliver it to them for the next step or something. Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing that, like if you're saying what, like I do that this way when I pull more cards. Like what is the story?
Right. Yeah. It's all good. Like it's just different styles, different ways, and what you feel the person might need at the time. Yeah.
So interesting. It just like it was an epiphany for me. Yeah. I'm not asking those questions. What, why? I use a lot of cards.
Right. But you know what's funny? You say that too. When I first started, I used to do that too. Bruce used to laugh at me. He used to tell everybody, my wife, when she does reading, she'll go like this. So tomorrow, you know what you're going to do?
Yes.
This is and then this is what, and then I would finish the whole deck. And then I'll be like,
that's awesome.
That's your reading. And they'll look at me like, you have no layout. You have a pile of cards in front of me, but it still worked.
It did. That's how I do readings.
Yeah.
I don't have any layout.
Yeah.
Although you have shown me a structure.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
Like, but it's all over the place.
Right. But that's how I used to do it too. Yeah, I used to just be like, and then this, and I just keep flipping and flipping. And
that's good, right?
Yeah, because as you're flipping too, you're also just channeling it out.
Right?
You're just saying it,
Right?
Yeah. So it works. Yeah.
But as I grow in intuition, I will not need as much cards.
Well, it's not that. It's just that it's good to try all different ways because you never know
what you're gonna
pick up. Who's sitting in front of you, what works best for that person, and there'll be days where maybe you forget your cards at home or you have the cards that you don't like and when you have those days, you're like, I don't need the cards. Or I'll just use this one card.
Or the leaves.
Yeah, right. Make an arrangement. Yeah, go make your crystal arrangement. No, really, right? Because then you have all these things to choose from. Yeah, and then after that, it's like it's your play around world, right? It's like you can use anything because you. Okay, so that's one way, right? So one way is to just keep digging through it to get more.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one would be like. Let's see how to explain this. The next one is kind of simple, I think. I think you already go through this a lot too. Is when you're doing a reading and then you
it's almost like something wants you to say something, but you're like, no, pushing it inside. And then when you finally say it, you're like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's like that one, like, irritation, that little fly kind of thing. So it's, yeah. So it's like, sometimes you'll just flip the cards and you pick up this energy and you'll think one word and you think maybe something like, oh, hospital. And then you're like, why am I getting hospital? And you're like, no. So you start telling the whole reading. And then at the very, very end, she's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I got to go to work now. I work at a hospital, you know, and you're like, oh, but then it's after the fact, right? But so sometimes it's like, you just got to say it when you feel it. And I think even in life too, like, you know, like sometimes we all want to, like, oh, that girl's, we can tell she's crying or she's sad. We want to say something, but like, no, she's a stranger, or no, I don't want to help them, but then you feel that feeling inside. So it's like, if you act upon it, sometimes you feel this, like you feel this energy change in your body, like poof, you know, that's kind of thing. Yeah,
that's what I did with a stranger. I was walking across the street, like walking the dog. I saw this girl. She looked sad, like she was crying or mad or something. And then we came back, and then I walked past her, and I was like, you know what? I just have to go ask her. So I just said, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay?" She's like, "Oh yeah." But I'm like, I don't know why I felt like I had to go ask her. You know?
Yeah.
But it released maybe something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I lay out the cards. I put my hands on the cards, and I ask now, is there anybody that's connected to so and so?
Oh, really?
That has a message for her.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why I do that is because sometimes I'm so focused and I go into the reading, and their mind is stuck on this person that passed away. So like I'll do the whole reading and they'll be like, yeah, you know, they'll say, yeah, this is right. But then at the end of the reading, they'll be like, oh, but I'm so sad because my auntie passed, or my mom passed, or somebody passed. And then I'm like in my head thinking, I should have like connected to that first, because if I cleared that up, she could probably have comprehended the reading better or had more questions to ask.
Okay, so I don't know why these cards flipped out, but maybe it's for you. And this is what I wanted to ask you was, for you, if there's anybody that passed that has a message for Maris.
Okay.
It's a male. And you guys are close. There's a lot of love. So, father or grandfather? Is he intuitive too, though?
This is the weird thing.
Yeah.
Where I was using cards, and then he was sleeping on the side, and he opened his eyes and he looked at me, and he said, oh, I used to do that. I went back to sleep. And I was like, what the hell? They never talked about it.
They don't share that, yeah? Yeah, lots of love. Look at this. Like, male, definitely male. Right? How powerful they are to help you.
Oh.
What?
No, see. Oh my God.
How powerful? They're powerful.
No, this isn't my grandfather.
Oh,
see, my grandfather, I think you're picking up on two people.
Okay, yeah.
Because my...
that's why I said two people.
Yeah. Because my grandfather, he collected art, but he didn't paint.
That's you, and there's two.
Yeah, because he collected art, but he didn't paint. He was very intuitive.
But there's two males.
But now there's another story. This lady that I met through a job, her husband passed away, and he was into art. She gave me all of his art. That's how I got into art. And when she gave me all his art supplies, I connected to him. I never met the guy. I never met him. And I said, can you please help me with my art?
Because you love the way he does his art.
And I had all his stuff.
Why don't you call him?
He gave me all his brushes. I inherited all these things from him.
Maris.
So he's the one I gotta connect.
Yes. But there's
but
two.
My grandfather is for my intuition, probably.
Yes. But yeah.
Wow.
Look, there's you, and there's two.
Yeah.
And then there's two. And then there's a lot of male. I should have picked up on that.
No, I should have picked up on I forgot about that. I inherited all his stuff. Like he gave me like binders, like his wife. She gave me. She said, "I don't paint. You can have all this." It was like books and everything. Oh, that's awesome. No, thank you. Now I know who to connect with when I do my thing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So today I wanted to talk about more. I think this is. I think you already do this already, so I don't know. But I'll just show you different ways. So in case you want to try other ways. So I think the way you do it right now is you channel it. So you know, whatever comes out, you just kind of unstuck it. Like you can feel that it's about to stuck, and then you try to. I can tell like you're really channeling it, so it's really good. So there's other ways too, where one is scribbling. Yeah. So like if you're so the scribbling is like driving. So you know, like you're doing something or you're concentrating on something else, so that your subconscious mind can pick and get the answers. So basically, you just ask a question, and you're like, okay, so this is what I get, and then you just kind of say, but you're just using this hand to keep the momentum of you physically doing something. So it's keeping that part of your brain busy, so you can tap in. Okay. Mm-hmm. The other way is. You have to start off with imagination, where you imagine how the person would sound, regardless if you know the person or not. So I always tell people to start off with someone they know. So like if it's like your grandmother, right? She has mom, right? So like if so you probably didn't. Did you meet her or no? Yeah, are you there?
Yeah, I think up until the age of 12 or something.
Okay, so you remember her, the sound of her voice and everything. Kind of. Okay, so like one of the ways to say is to start off with imagine as if she was just like whispering in your ear, and what she would say when you ask a question. So you can even start off with, even take it one step even more basic, where you start off with people that are living, and you're like, okay, if your mom saw a mess in this place, right? And in your mind, you're like, okay, if she saw this right now, this is what she would say. This is what she would do, right? Now, if your dad saw the mess in his place, right? What would he say? What would he do, right? So you think about the words they would use, how they would say things, and how they would sound. And in your head, you imagine or envision that they're saying it. So if you wanted to buy a blouse, right? And you go, Mom, should I get this? And then in your head, you already know what she's going to say, right? So it's like a subconscious mind, like, oh, that's so beautiful, aren't you? Or like, oh my God, no, don't get that one, right? But whatever she would say, or she might say something completely different, right? But you're imagining how she would say it. And in your mind, you're imagining her voice tone and how she would say things. So when someone tells you, oh, can you help me connect to someone that passed away? And then they say like, oh, my auntie. And, oh, what is your auntie's name? Oh, my auntie's name is, I don't know, Sarah. Okay. And then you're like, okay, Sarah, but you don't know who Sarah is, right? So even if you imagine somebody completely different that doesn't sound like Sarah to her, it's okay, because what you're doing is you're letting your subconscious mind tap in to the energy field of Sarah. So you would imagine how she would sound and what she would say. Would she have an accent? How would she look like? And then when you start imagining, what happens is it opens this door where eventually you're not imagining anymore. But you have to come to a space of silence. And then the silence creates the hearing. So, for example, remember last time we had those paintings that I showed you? And then I said, oh, okay, so this is a picture of nothing, right? But then when you stare at it, you'll formulate in your mind, you know, oh, this is a bolt, or oh, I see a car right here with these lines connecting, or so same thing with the hearing. So you might just hear like the air conditioning going zzz, right? But then in your mind, that air conditioning sound sounds like like something like, Maris, I want to talk to you. I want to tell you this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that in a way, where you might hear something like a tone, or you connect with something very subtle like water running, or sometimes, but it's sometimes not even that. You just hear it. But I'm trying to show you how subtle it is. And then it comes across like, am I making this up because I'm making the sound of these things that are around me? But then it comes to the point where you're like, okay, I get it, it's really them. So you learn from experience because you'll hear this sound coming through or this voice coming through. But you know it's them because it's not going to be right here on the outside. You're going to feel it here, like in your throat and your heart, where you're almost about to say it, almost like you're channeling. But instead, you're not using your throat, and you're interpreting it in your head. And then you're saying, I don't know if that makes sense. Does it kind of make sense?
Yeah.
So, okay. And then you want to get in that blank space. So for you, like I said, that's why for you, I think it's easier to teach. And I can't really teach this to a lot of people because they cannot get to that space, first of all. And most people cannot channel. Like they have, they're not able to just flow and as soon as they get stuck, to overcome that and just keep flowing. Not everyone can do that. So you're already in that space already where you know how to do that. So now the next one would be to try and hear it first and then say it. And sometimes it's good to hear it first and then say it, because then there's cold words that people use. Like maybe they say something like, that damn room, you gotta clean it or something, right? And then you're like, my mom always says that damn room, so it'll hit them and they'll be like, oh, she is really connecting with my mom. Right? And then what I also did too is I connect with the months. So I tap in, and if I pick up a person, I ask the person in my mind, okay, tell me what month is significant to this lifetime for you. So they'll say like, oh, the month of May. And I'll be like, oh, okay. So then I'll tell the person, for some reason, this male or female that's coming through is connected to the month of May. So it's either maybe they passed away in the day, maybe it's their birthday or your birthday, but there's some kind of connection with May. And the reason why I have to say birthday, death day, because sometimes they cannot even think about that. They're like, May? No, nothing's happening in May. Like they can't think of, the association to it. And then when you get it, you know that there is a connection there. Sometimes you don't get it, and it's okay too. It could be that it's something that already happened or did happen, or they can't even make the connection, but it happened. So one time I would say that the month of May, and they're like, no, he didn't die in May, but my mom's and his anniversary is in May, and she's still alive. So it's like, to me, that's a connection, because it's saying that that's when he's coming around to see her, to be around on Earth. But it's not always to other people, so that's why you have to kind of like throw in the hints, like, it could be with this or with this or with this. So what I always do is when I do a layout before, right when they sit down, like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I pick up. They sit down. I put my hands on the cards and I'm like, okay, before we start this reading, is there anyone here that is coming through that wants to give a message? And I wait. I go into the blank space and I listen. She misses you. I heard like women talking, so I didn't really hear anything specific, but I felt like that represents that she misses the camaraderie between you two, and like just talking story and just like the small talk and venting to each other. Like she appreciates that you were there for her, and and I feel like the door closing shortly afterwards maybe it's like her saying that she even though like that door and that like experience has closed, and now that she's on the other side, that she would still like to be there for you if you need help to call upon. Like she's proud of you for something, like now that she's on the other side, like she can see how much more that you do, or how much you have to put up with, and that she's impressed with, like, I guess the expression of love that you show towards Bruce, because you guys really grew a lot together, and yeah, maybe that really touches her heart, because maybe she has some problems with her relationship, or she never had like the intimate kind of relationship that she wanted. It's like she's like saying, "Oh, Maris, I see how much you do for other people. Like I see all this is like how much like you spread yourself, for and for all your friends and family. She thinks that that's beautiful. It's really hard to do, and that's why it's so beautiful. And so she really wants you to take care of yourself, but Lauren knew everything. And so when we said that she's looking down, she even got the full spectrum of what had happened probably, and how things were. And when she was here, she was the only one that could tell. Sometimes it's like they will say certain things to them that not anybody would say. So like they would even say like, "Hey man, what you doing with that girl? I mean, like you're all screwed up in your head." I mean, like I'll just say it like that, and then they'll be like, "That's what he'll say," like so in that sense, it's kind of interesting because you get that personality and that take, and when they see you, they know like Maris would not say that, so they know it's not me. And like one time I did this reading for this other lady, and then like she was asking about her mom, and the whole time the mom was cracking jokes in my head. Like I felt so bad because I'm laughing about somebody's, parent that passed away, but she's telling me these jokes. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, I just gotta tell you what she's telling me. So I'm like, she's saying like, now you're gonna cry. You never cried at my funeral, but you're gonna cry now. And then she was like, oh my God, that's so hard. Yeah, I didn't cry at the funeral. I was like so in shock and busy, and then she'd be like, you wipe that off your face and start cleaning your room. You know how dirty your room is. And then like, so it was so funny because, and then there's other lady, like she's a joke, like she jokes around a lot too. And every time when I do readings for her friends, like it's like a party. We just crack up laughing because she says the funniest things sometimes, and it's not things I would say. In fact, I think it's kind of can be kind of rude a little bit too. Yeah. But they get it and they know that's her, and they're just like so happy. Like so sometimes it's good to, because then you're picking up that feel and that whole thing too. But then later when you get into it, you can pick up their whole vibe, like everything, how they feel, how they would word things, if they were a serious person, if they're standoffish, if they're like yes. No, I'll be like, oh my God, they don't elaborate much. Just letting you know, he's really small on words, and they'll be like cracking up. That's him, So yeah, it's like pulling teeth with this guy. And then this other time, I was like, give me a month, right? I'm like, okay, give me a significant month. He's like, January, August, and November. I'm like, okay, I just want to tell you, he's giving me 3 months, and I said, like. He almost sounds like he doesn't know. And then I said, the months, and they're cracking up laughing because they said those 3 months, he doesn't know when people's birthdays are and stuff. But those are the 3 months he always thought that was people's birthdays. So you have questions so far, or you know how to clear ghosts, right? I can show you this. Oh yeah, you'll save that for later.